We call this Joe's tree. The grandkids call it Papa Joe's tree.
A family tree takes on a new meaning in a Southwest Virginia cemetery. The U.S. Census Bureau says as baby boomers age, the U.S. death rate will keep rising every year, reaching a peak in 2055.
According to researchers at Iowa State University, 76 million boomers are expected to reach the age of life expectancy between now and 2042. If all of them were buried traditionally, researchers found it would require roughly 130 square miles of grave spots, an area about the size of Las Vegas. That's why some cemeteries are shifting to non-traditional burial methods, including cremation, green burials, and tree burials.
For one family in Roanoke, Virginia, a love of nature, the outdoors, and vibrant fall colors provided the seeds for a living tribute. Reporter Kristen Crowley introduces us to Joe Coleman's red maple tree.
Among the gray headstones dotting this century-old cemetery's green landscape.
This is a red maple tree, and it was chosen by me when my husband passed in March of 2020.
A living tribute to the life of Joe Coleman.
When this tree was planted, I instantly wanted a destination outdoors that I could go to and talk to Joe.
Kitty Coleman was married to her husband Joe for 50 years.
I guess when people would ask me about Joe, I would always say that the smartest thing I ever did in my life was marry Joe Coleman. And people understood when they knew him.
His friends and coworkers knew Joe as a longtime public school teacher and administrator who always had part of his heart in the classroom. A larger part of his heart was with his wife, whom he'd often spend time with outdoors on the local trails.
Joe and I would literally spend many days hiking outdoors.
That love for the outdoors is just one of the reasons why his wife says Joe decided to be a tree. It's a choice he began considering years before his death, when he was first diagnosed with cancer.
We were lucky to have had a little bit of time to talk about these very tough conversations, make some challenging decisions, and we both decided that this was the option for us. I would get emotional during those tough conversations.
But a majority of Americans haven't had those tough conversations. According to the U.S. National Funeral Directors Association, just 21% of people have discussed their funeral plans with family, even though 2/3 acknowledge the importance of doing so.
If you think about it for just a little bit today and make a commitment, you won't ever have to think about it again.
Don Wilson is the president of Evergreen Memorial Trust.
There's been a lot of people that say that's a cool idea.
Don says they had been fielding calls from people who were looking for another option from traditional burial or cremation. He says they became aware of a biodegradable urn, which helped plant the seeds for Evergreen's Be a Tree program.
We've probably got 40 trees in the program, and that many more that have been pre-arranged and pre-planned.
The program at Evergreen involves a biodegradable urn buried beneath a tree. Many of the trees tell part of a person's life story or show some aspect of their personality.
I forget the family's name, but Dad was a big man. Strong man, and they wanted an oak tree for Dad because that fit him perfectly.
And these are the 3 grandchildren.
In the meantime, Kitty continues to tend and care for Joe's red maple, and she knows that someday she will once again be by his side.
I purchased the space adjacent to him because I will definitely be a tree as well.
And Kitty hopes one day a family tradition will take root between their trees.
I foresee generations of Colemans gathering around my husband's tree and my tree in years to come.
According to the website Parting, families looking to bury their loved ones can expect to pay an average of $7,000 to $10,000 for a traditional burial, which includes the casket, burial, and installation of a headstone. Officials with the cemetery we spoke to say a tree burial there costs around $5,000, but that does not include the cost of cremation or any other expenses related to the funeral home.